All right,
Is it recording?
here we are.
Uh,
It's recording.
it literally just
Here we
said
are.
recording
It's
in
the
progress on
first.
my screen, so I guess I'm delayed a little bit.
Uh, Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the weekly preview. We kind of got some inspiration from Layla and Eric's weekly breakdown. This is an unusual time. We're going to be posting this at Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're recording this a little before then, but usually we'll post it a little earlier in the week in the next coming weeks. But we wanted to really get this one out because we have a big weekend this weekend in the NFL, the divisional round of the playoffs, wild card weekend. I don't know how Jacob did. Jacob can recap it, but I was 3-0 on my picks, all against the spread. I had the Jaguars plus 2.5, Ravens plus 8, and Cowboys minus 2.5. So great wild card weekend. I'm gonna break down my divisional round picks, show you guys some of my strategies, and yeah, just give you some education and knowledge heading into this weekend uh, on NFL. So you want to do a quick recap, Jacob, on how wild card weekend was for you?
Yeah, so I didn't have any official picks. I had the Jags. Personally for me, Trevor
Yeah.
Lawrence had never lost on a Saturday. They put him on a Saturday against
Yeah,
the
never
Chiefs
lost
this
on a
week,
Saturday.
so I don't know,
They did.
but yeah, the I stayed away from the Giants and Vikings that week because obviously I had some features on the Vikings. Guess I should have teased them a little bit or hedged, but yeah, and then the 49ers are I think going to the Super Bowl, so they got too many weapons, so I won that pick.
It's not a bad take there, Jacob. But here I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna get right into the NFL divisional round. So I think my screen is being shared currently, right?
Yeah.
Um, and as you can see, get this out of here. All right. As you can see, here is the line. First off, for this Jaguars Kansas City game, it is the first game on the divisional round slate. Kansas City is favored by 8.5 points, the total at 53. So a bit of a high total. This whole like divisional round has high totals. And Kansas City is favored at minus 450, while Jacksonville are plus 333 underdogs. So I think this is the biggest spread of the weekend. I mean, and I guess rightfully so. Kansas City 14-3, best offense in the league. Probably going to have the MVP and Patrick Mahomes. Uh, Andy Reid's winning coach of the year. I don't know. Maybe Brian Dable. I don't know. That's a close race. I think Nick Sirianni can throw in there. Who's the other guy? Doug Peterson. Is that his name? What's his name? Eagles
Yeah.
coach?
Yeah, Peterson.
Doug Peterson. Yeah. So I'm gonna first go. I wish I could get the actually no, we can't get these rankings up, but I wish we could go to I'll bring up some of these betting trends here. I'm not going to necessarily use them, but just for you guys to look at on the spread. And I'm just kind of break down a couple things. Action Network right now does not have the Football Outsiders chart up. I wish I could get that up because that gives us some insight on the defensive value over average for each team in statistics. But I'm just going to put a couple takes in here for this Jacksonville game. The Jaguars, at least before the playoffs have started, I don't know what it's updated after the Chargers, but they were the 30th ranked secondary in defensive value over average. Remember, that is a subjective stat technically. So it's not based entirely on statistics. It's also based on analysts ranking it. So statistically, they're a little better, right? They're probably in like the mid 20s, early 20s in terms of like passing yards allowed, touchdowns allowed, or whatever else, but definitely still not a great secondary. Uh, and I don't think they're very capable of stopping Mahomes. I mean, Patrick Mahomes led the league in yards, led the league in touchdowns. He was an absolute killer this year. He didn't even have like a consistent wide receiver one. I guess he had Kelsey, but Juju was out. Scantling was out. He had many guys who he needed to rotate through. The O line was underwhelming. Definitely the rookie. What's his name? What's the rookie Creed? He was really the only uh
The
competent O
receiver.
lineman.
Oh, the lineman.
No,
Yeah,
the center
yeah, I'm not
Creed.
sure.
So, and he was playing with that bad defense, but still willed his team to a 14-3 record in a division which everyone said was going to be the best of all time. Like how that turned out.
Right.
Um, so I mean, Jacob, what do you think? Do you think Jacksonville can stop Kansas
Uh,
City? Do you think Trevor Lawrence gets
I
some offense here?
I think this could be a trap line. So I'm going to go back to my good old
Yeah,
props, and you got Christian Kirk up right there.
there it is.
If Jacksonville has any chance, he has to go off.
Hmm.
So I think Christian Kirk over, I think it said 64 and a half
Yeah, there
yards.
it is.
Leaning towards that. And then also, again, no one's stopping Mahomes. So you could take Trevor Lawrence's, that I'm assuming they're going to be playing from
Yeah,
behind. So they're just going to be throwing the ball. So you could
smart.
take any of Trevor Lawrence's overs, passing attempts, passing
Whew.
yards. Um,
Look at that. Look at that
yeah.
Mahomes line.
But I think Mahomes
Man,
it gets 2+2. Go to his passing touchdowns. What's a over
the
under?
line right now is at 2.5.
Yeah, I think he gets that easy. So
Really easy.
yeah, I think Mahomes goes over 2.5.
That
I
is
think he
true.
gets 3 touchdowns. Um, but again, game time decision, depending on what Lawrence is, if he has like 34, 35 passing attempts, probably take that over.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, yeah, he was a killer. The thing is, we saw him in a couple times these playoff games when he faced Buffalo in the AFC Championship 2 years back. Absolutely dominant, like it was 38-13. Uh,
Right.
he killed the Steelers last year. So Mahomes in the playoffs, especially at Arrowhead,
What's
has the
the
tendency to just
weather supposed to be like?
that's interesting. We actually Jacob, I think, is getting that up right now. I think I can. I mean, let's see if it's on action here. I can.
So a lot of
We can
people had
pull it up. Oh,
questions on
here.
our Oh, so a
Here
lot of people
also we
had
have
questions
some.
on what do we go? So this is the action app that we asked you all to
Yeah,
download. It has a lot of great insider knowledge, insight. So
yeah, and here also, guys. Here are the official, um, the official what's it called things like the official statistics based
yeah.
on types of things. So
So light
here we go. I mean, we
snow,
get the Kansas City light snow. That's interesting.
high of the day,
Light
39,
snow in
low 30.
Arrowhead, and it's 8.5.
Yeah. But I mean
Ooh,
it's a
okay,
balmy
yeah, maybe.
27 degrees, so it's not too terribly cold.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I mean, here's the thing. Jacksonville's defense. If you look at it, I want to take a look at their defense first. We're gonna take a look at defenses, and here you see a lot of red uh on the statistics, and that's not good. They're not really great at getting sacks, not great at red zone efficiency. They don't really convert on third down. They don't convert on first down.
And
And
just know
and
there's
they
32
let
teams.
up a lot of passing yards. I mean, Justin Herbert, 32 teams in the NFL. That's a good point, Jacob. Yeah, for people to
So
know. 32 teams in the NFL. So this is bottom of the pack. I mean, they're good at forcing turnovers, and that's really about it. Maybe rushing. They do have a D line, good D line up front. They got Josh Allen up there, but honestly, that's never stopped Mahomes. Mahomes is very good against good D lines historically. The only time he wasn't was against Tampa, but that's also because they had an elite secondary backing that elite D lineup. So overall, I mean, Jacksonville, this isn't a very capable defense. Looking at the rankings here, I mean, the Chargers honestly should have won that game. I had the Jaguars, but Trevor Lawrence throwing 4 picks. I can't believe you don't win that game. Come on,
right.
that's
Especially when
absolutely ridiculous.
You have Austin
So
Eckler. I don't
yeah,
understand coaching. Like,
exactly.
give him 100 touches.
So
Like, you just run the ball. He
it
goes in
doesn't make
two
sense to
plays
me
and
either.
runs, and then
And then Mahomes, I mean, that's why the rushing attack was terrible all season. Mahomes is a capable quarterback, probably, in my opinion, the best in the league unanimously. So you've got to think he's going to be capable of tuning up this Jacksonville secondary. You got to think so,
right.
right? Um, I mean, and honestly, you can say the same thing about Trevor Lawrence in a sense. Red zone efficiency, they are not good at getting field goals. We saw Russell Wilson get like 3, 4 touchdowns against them when he hadn't had more than one touchdown in the
Yeah.
game all season. So definitely they're not great. Once you get down in their territory, they're not great at just stopping you. They're pretty decent against the run, and they're pretty good at limiting points in general. They're also decent on third down. They're okay against the pass, so they're not a bad team. Uh, they just have a lot of young guys on the defense. I mean, they had Tyrann Mathieu last year, who they lost, who was their veteran guy. They lost Charvarius Ward in free agency. So they definitely lost a lot of those key players in the defense they had last year. And they have a lot of young guys going into their first playoff appearance. So I'm not too sure Kansas City's defense will be able to hold up. Maybe they hold up a little better than Jacksonville's defense. They probably do. But Trevor Lawrence, statistically, other than the wild card weekend, weeks 8 through 16, was the best quarterback in the league.
No, for
Statistically,
sure.
he was. And you got to think he's going to be able to do something against the Kansas City defense, which is historically, I mean, Kansas City knows they're not a defensive team. They want to put Patrick Mahomes on the field. That's the whole point. They're going for all or nothing. So this is a game I can see Kansas City blowing them out, especially because it's in Arrowhead. But again, remember, guys, snow. Trevor Lawrence has never lost on a Saturday.
Right.
And this Kansas City defense isn't great. So Jacksonville could easily, maybe a Mahomes slip up, someone fumbles the ball. Who knows what happens? And Jacksonville's right there. And an 8.5 spread, it doesn't leave too much room for error for Kansas City. I mean, we can go to the offensive rank of both these teams here and look at that Kansas City offense. Look at that. Second in red zone efficiency, second in third down conversion, first in first downs, third in sacks, first in passing yards, first in rushing yards, eighth in points. They're middle of
Yards
the
per
pack in
play,
turnovers.
20th in rushing
Yeah,
yards, first in
yards
yards
per
per
play.
play.
That's right. That's what I meant. 20th in rushing yards and first in yards per play. That's even bigger. First in yards per play is crazy. And
Yeah,
I think they're ahead by a long shot, if I'm right. And
right.
then Jacksonville's pretty good too. We got fifth in sacks allowed. So the O line's playing well, 10th in passing yards, ninth in yards per play. And they've only been getting better towards the end of the year. So this could be close to a shootout. I mean, who knows? But again, as I just talked about the inexperience of the Chiefs, you guess you could talk about it with the Jaguars. But I think the Jaguars, with that playoff win, kind of gained some footing, I guess you could say here, and are kind of in the rhythm of it. Plus 8.5 seems almost a little too big for me. I'm not going to make an official play, but in the playoffs, I don't know. This is a
It's
50-50 one. I'll definitely, once more data comes out, we will make official picks. Jacob, you have anything, final words on this
um
game?
I think also depending on the cold, I mean it is Jacksonville. They're not used to playing in cold weather.
Yeah.
So um but yeah, no, I just think there's it's gonna be a shootout. And
Mhm.
so we'll see what the lines come. The line's gonna move. It's I doubt it ends at 8.5. That's what it's at right now. So
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see where the money comes in.
definitely. And anything on the total? I don't really bet totals. You can put a brief word in on the total. I mean, actually, I'll,
Nah,
I'll say something about totals too.
I don't.
I mean, I
Yeah, I
guess
don't have not for this one again because I mean,
the books did account for it.
yeah, Kansas City
The
could
books
win. I
accounted for
mean,
it. 53 is a high total.
Kansas City could win uh 35-7, and I mean that's
Yeah.
so that means Jacksonville could get shut down. And if
Yeah.
Trevor
And
Lawrence,
one interesting.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence threw
Yeah, for sure.
four interceptions in the first half last game. Of course, he's going to be practicing taking care of the ball.
Yeah.
They might put the ball into Etienne's hands to make him calm down a little bit. I have no idea, but that total is pretty high for me.
Definitely. Uh, and let me just remind you of one thing, closing remark. Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead, when favored by a touchdown or more, is 31% against the spread. So going into this game, I want everyone to remember that statistic, especially with this historic data. This is a situation where you would usually fade Mahomes. Just gonna put it out there. I know you don't like hearing that, fade Mahomes, but that's a typical statistic.
Right.
Moving on, divisional game. This one I'm excited about. I'm a New Yorker. I'm excited to see the Giants in the playoffs. I'm not exactly a Giants fan, but I'm definitely excited to see them here. I think they opened at 7. It's kind of gone from 7, 7.5, bounced back, and now they are just above a touchdown at plus 7.5. Totals 48. They are plus 275 underdogs, with the Eagles being minus 350 favorites. Jacob, you have anything to start this one off? Any
Um.
player props or anything?
Yeah. Oh shoot, forgetting the quarterback's name, Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
His rushing
Daniel
yards.
Jones. There you
He's
are, right there.
yeah. I mean, if he doesn't get that, they have no. He's going to be running for his life. Um, so I think Daniel
Yeah,
Jones rushing over. They're going to run Saquon Barkley. He's healthy, so I mean, it's the playoffs. They don't have to put him on reserve or anything. They're just gonna run him. So I would also say Saquon's rushing attempts over. The only problem with that is if they get behind, Eagles come out shooting, get 2 scores ahead, they're gonna have to pass.
Yeah,
So
passed
so
exactly.
that's why I like the Daniel Jones rushing yards. I mean, he's a scramble first quarterback. He doesn't really step up in the pocket. Um, so I mean, if he gets 7 carries, he'll get that 44 yards easily.
And especially, he actually led the Giants in rushing yards last game
Right.
against the Vikings with 78. So good pick. I like that there. And especially the Eagles get out to early leads. So I guess it's going to be a little difficult depending on that. And I guess that's why the sports books have accounted for that 44 and a half. I mean, this game is interesting. I'm going to go to the defensive rankings here first, and then we'll look at a couple of props. I mean, sacks. Look at the Eagles' defense has been
Yeah.
insane, tremendous all year. I mean, they're first in sacks. You see, they're first in limiting passing yards, first in yards per play. They are just they are insane. I mean, that secondary with Darius Slay, Gardner Johnson is playing
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. I think they're still missing Jordan Davis, which isn't great. Because that definitely won't help the run. Although they still are around middle of the pack, 16th. But with Jordan Davis, you got to think that number goes up. They do, even with all these statistics, if you look here, 13th first downs, a lot of good numbers, but still are 26th in points. That is due to the high power offenses that they faced. They've actually had a very tough schedule in terms of the offensive they played. I mean, the Packers played really well. Cowboys had a great offense. So definitely they've had a tough offensive schedule at the very least. Oh my God, the lights in here just turned off. I'm trying to, it's like motion censored. Okay. I guess I'll turn
New
them on in a minute.
York.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Okay, guys. uh yeah, so the defense, I mean, I we'll get to the Giants offense in a minute. I don't think they're as good as people are making them out to be. But defensively, the Giants are actually pretty good, especially up front with Thibodeau, their rookie, and Dexter Lawrence. Hold on. Wait a minute. All right, yeah. And Dexter Lawrence. So they definitely have a very good. They definitely have like a really good O line up front. They're good at points, and defense. They're decent defense, but have a pretty weak secondary, especially with their inexperience. Um, and those are the defenses. We'll just go do a quick switch to the offensive rankings. We got the Eagles, who've had a great offense all season. The O line let up a little bit towards the end of the season, and also they don't get a lot of points towards the end of the games, especially since they like to kind of slow it down, run the ball once they get a lead. But when they turn it on, they turn it on. I mean, third and first downs, third in red zone efficiency, fourth and third down conversion. You see fifth in rushing yards, ninth in passing yards. So a very high-powered offense that can compete with any offense in the league, to be honest. I mean, they have
How
weapons in the
how
rushing, they have
healthy
weapons in the
is
passing
Hurts?
game.
How healthy is
I think
Jalen though?
Hurts is good. I think Hurts
Yeah.
is good. The one issue I have is Lane Johnson may not be completely healthy, their right tackle, and he is really valuable. Historically, they haven't won without him. So I would look out for the health of Lane Johnson, and that's going to depend on the pick. In terms of the Giants, I mean, they're seventh in red zone efficiency, but you see a lot of red here. They're really only good in rushing yards, and I guess they're good at turnovers. Daniel Jones has really limited those turnovers. And Saquon Barkley's been playing amazing, but they do a lot of their really good offensive stuff against pretty terrible teams. I mean, our defenses at least. The Vikings defense isn't good.
They're bad. They're bad.
Very bad defense, and the Giants were able to take advantage of that. I don't think they're going to be able to take advantage of them against Philly. I think this is honestly a game that um, the Eagles can easily blow them out in. Uh, this is not an official pick, but I'm definitely leaning towards the Eagles at 7.5. Remember, guys, they beat them 48-22. I don't know if it's up here. Head to head, here we go. 48-22 in this game.
Hmm.
Absolutely just killed them. You're looking at this result, but no Jalen Hurts in this game up here on January 8th. So when they get it on, they get it on. Any last words? I mean, any props you like other than the ones you just said?
No, I mean Vegas needs a favorite to lose. And I don't think it's gonna be Philadelphia.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And I mean, that's the total. We're just gonna do the NFL games for now since there's four of them. I mean, you want to do any college games, or you
I have
want to
a
stick
couple
with
picks,
NFL for
but
now, Jacob?
let's, I mean, I'll just give a couple picks. I won't explain too much. We can just continue with the college games or the NFL
Perfect.
games. Sorry.
Perfect. Uh, Game everyone's been waiting for. This is a pretty high-powered one. Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen. Bengals at Bills. Bills opened at -4 and have been bet up to 5.5. The
That's
total is sitting
crazy.
at 48.5. So definitely everyone's liking the Bills for a couple big reasons. I mean, there's a key injuries. I don't know if they're going to show it for the Bengals, but they have a lot of their linemen beat up. Alex Kappa is not playing. So they had them injured against the Ravens, and I think they're having them injured against um the blanked out against the Bills. They could get them back for the AFC Championship. So I mean, they're looking to hold on one more game without those guys, but it's going to definitely be hard without your O lineman. Joe Burrow did it last year, which was very impressive, but this Buffalo defense isn't much to play with. I mean, if Buffalo had Von Miller, I think this could be a blowout, but they don't have Von Miller.
Right.
So it's a little bit of a different kind of game. Do you like anything on the player props side of this?
I don't. I'm staying away from this game. I have zero beat. I have zero read on it. Maybe Josh Allen to throw an interception. He's not been
Yeah.
ever since he got injured. He's not been playing well, but I'm sure that's probably pretty high. He's had an interception in like the last four games, I think, if not more.
Yeah. And he had two against the Dolphins. That's the only reason that game was close.
Right. Um,
So
I don't know. I that over 46.5 rushing yards seems high to me, but yeah, I have zero I have
yeah.
zero B on this. I mean, sometimes you saw with the NCAA championship, I had to be on it. 12 pick parlay lost by one. So if I get that little tingle in my feeling good, then I'll definitely
Yeah,
drop some same game parlay. But for this one, I have zero idea what to do.
for sure. Yeah, head to head, we don't have any data. As for Damar Hamlin, they did not have a matchup. Their matchup was postponed because of Damar Hamlin. He's actually it's crazy his recovery. I can't believe he's recovering this
I know
quickly.
that's wild.
But um, going into the statistics, we're gonna look at both the defensive rankings here. Cincinnati hasn't really gotten to the quarterback very well. Their defense, to be fair, has had injuries throughout the season. They've been completely injured.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
They have DJ Reader up there, who is an absolute monster. Um, they are missing a Woozy, one of their best corners. He is an absolute monster, and he was a huge part of Cincinnati all season before he got injured, and now they have to play Eli Apple, who is just really bad. That Cincinnati secondary is a lot weaker. The run stop is going to be good, but if Josh Allen gets it going, it's not going to be fun for Cincinnati, especially Buffalo at home. Defensively for Buffalo, they've been great. They've been 13th in sacks, great in the red zone, great in third down conversion, great defending the rush, and they're really good at forcing turnovers. They've always thrown a lot of turnovers and forced a lot of turnovers. They've always been a team like that. It's all or nothing for Buffalo usually. Um, I mean, the Bills have a great defense. They're a high-powered defense, and especially it matched up against a Cincinnati offense who's missing two of its tackles. I'm not so sure how much the Bengals are going to be able to do against a high-powered secondary. You got to think Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are going to make a couple throws,
Right.
especially when you have that high-powered of a receiving core. But it's definitely a little difficult. You look at the two offenses. I mean, Buffalo, a lot of green here. I mean, first and third down conversions, second and first downs, third in yards per play, second in points, 31st in turnovers, which has really been their kryptonite all season. It's the reason why they lost so many games, lost the Vikings. I remember the guys in that matchup. And first downs are second. So they're definitely overall a very good offense. Turnovers can plague them, but the Bengals really don't have a secondary to stop them. And Cincinnati is a good offense too. Fifth and third downs, third and third down conversion, the fifth in passing yards. But remember, no tackles is not great. They're also not a great rushing team, especially consistently. So this Cincinnati offense, it's going to be a little difficult, especially since they're very banged up. If Cincinnati was a little more healthy, uh, I could see a different outcome. But for now, the pick I'm looking at is Buffalo -5.5. I'm hoping I'm not maybe not an official play yet, but it's definitely the play I like for now. Moving on to our final game. Did you have anything else to say about that game? Because I don't.
No, I'm good.
Final game: Cowboys, Niners. I think Jacob is lagging a little bit. Oh, now he's back. Um, if you guys entered not the contest, but if you guys liked and reposted the weekly recap we posted on the Level Up Instagram, you guys would have received my pick of the week, which was the Cowboys -2.5. It was a 3-unit play, so a big play, like a hammer. And we cashed big time. We got a lot of money on that game. And now they're moving on to the divisional round. So, I mean, Jacob, you have anything in terms of props? I think his connection's a little
Is it
shaky. I can
is it
take
coming
over
in and out?
his things not
I'm
working.
here. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so I do not think Jacob's
Oh no.
connection is great right now, so I'll take over. We go to the trends here in terms of both teams head to head. Yeah, it is. Now you're back. Now you're back. You're
All
back.
right.
You're back. You're back. You're
For
back. You're
this,
back. So do you have
McCaffrey,
anything about props on this game or anything?
Christian McCaffrey, CMC,
All right,
over.
Jacob's
Oh,
connection's a little laggy right now. Um,
damn it! I'm sorry, guys.
Jacob, I'm gonna mute you for now.
Okay.
Guess I can't mute him. All right, I'll just continue on.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Hold on, guys. Just hold on for 1 minute. We're having some technical issues with Jacob on Jacob's side.
I'm here. I can hear you just fine. That's unfortunate.
Wait, Jacob.
Yeah, I'm here.
Just try to mute yourself. Just try to mute yourself. So I'll go over the plays. All right, I guess we just restart the recording. So we'll just post both.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
That was so weird. Like Zoom just decided to restart. It was just like it never prompted me or anything. It just closed out and restarted and had an update, which is wild.
Do you want to? Should
Sorry
we?
about that.
What's it called?
Yeah.
What's
So I'll be
should we just do part?
I'll splice them together when I post it.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so the recording like cut out for anyone who's just kind of watching this not live. Did you start recording?
Yeah, it's recording.
Yeah. So for any it kind of cut out, Jacob had some technical issues, but we are back. Anyways, moving on to our defensive rankings for this final game. We have the Niners and the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys have been a really good defensive team. Micah Parsons, generational talent, so they're obviously going to be good up front. Fourth in sacks, but they're not great against the run, 22nd, and they also still are 32nd against points, which is very odd. And the big reason for that, because if you're looking at these numbers, you're like, how is this possible? But the big reason for that is they often are a very undisciplined defense, like against the Jaguars when they gave up 40 points and let up a bunch of very silly plays. Jacob and I both had the Jaguars in that game and kind of knew that was a letdown spot for this defense. Um, Overall, though, the Cowboys, I mean, in every other statistic are still very great. They're ninth and third down conversion, eighth in passing yards, seventh in yards from play, and first in turnovers. But it's a playoff game. I think they'll be a bit more disciplined. They were very disciplined against Tampa. They played great against Tampa. The fourth quarter, Tom Brady got going a bit, but I'm not too worried about that because they played a good, solid, I would say, like 55 minutes outside of those last couple minutes in the fourth. Um, so Dallas defense, I expect to be good, and I also expect the Niners defense to be great as well. I mean, they're not as great in the numbers, but they are still an amazing defense. They've been injured, so that's why these numbers look a little worse. But in the second half of the season, they have been insane. They're probably the best defense in the league. Um, they're not great at limiting points due to the injuries that they had towards the first half of the season. I think there was like a couple games they only had like two starters playing, and they're still able to compete. So it's definitely still impressive. But second in turnovers, fourth in yards per play, second in rushing yards. Still a great defense. And that's definitely gonna give Dak Prescott some troubles. And I think Dallas can give Brock Purdy trouble. I mean, Cowboys played great against Tampa last week. Tampa's defense could not hold Dak Prescott. They couldn't really hold the run. They, I mean, the O line played great last night, and they've been playing great all season. They're the best team, the Dallas Cowboys, in red zone efficiency, which means they are the best team at getting points in the red zone. Um, Overall, just one of the best teams, like a very, very good offensive team. They've really come into their own. San Francisco, also pretty good as well. Third in turnovers. I mean, the yards per play. The numbers don't look as pretty as Dallas's do. You know, the green isn't as bright, but the Niners, I mean, they're still a very good offense, and you saw it against Seattle. They blew them away. They're playing with a rookie quarterback, so it's always going to be a bit difficult. Before this, rookie quarterbacks were 1-8. I think in their first like playoff start, and Brock Purdy killed it. But we don't know how sustainable it will be, as this really has never happened in NFL history. This is a very odd scenario. But you got an offensive coach, you got a bunch of weapons, you got a great O line, so you got to think Brock Purdy can be able to come into his own year. I mean, this game is difficult. This game's in San Francisco. Right now, I see no edge here, and there's no pick I'm really going to lean towards. I will probably have a pick towards the end of the week and when it's game time, possibly. But as of right now, there's nothing I really see here. Is there anything you see that's going to give you an edge anywhere?
Yeah, I think it's as much as I hate to say it, it's a revenge game for Dallas. Niners knocked them out last year.
Yeah.
Their last game probably for Zeke. I don't see him coming back with Dallas. I think is this his last year on his contract or next year? I think they might be trying to trade him away and give Tony Pollard the offense for next year.
I don't
It's
know.
basically
I don't know.
make or break for Dak. Is he going to be an elite quarterback? Is he going to lose to Mister Irrelevant? I can't say that word.
Yeah.
So I think Purdy's going to throw an interception this game. That's definitely a prop that I have on it.
Hmm.
I think the Cowboys defense, he hasn't faced a defense like the Cowboys. It's a primetime game. He hasn't shown any weakness. And I was just like, I don't know. I mean, he could be the next Ben
Too good to be
Roethlisberger.
true.
Yeah, like I mean, Ben
Yeah.
Roethlisberger won it as a rookie, but there has to be some sort of letdown, in my opinion. I love the Niners, but 3.5 points is a lot. So I hope I want 49ers to win. I'm not a Dallas fan by any means at all, but I think they cover the 3.5.
Ooh. So I think it's four actually. Yeah, four.
So if it's 4, then even
So they're
better.
getting 4 points. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a decent pick. At the same time, I mean, I can also see the Niners going in and putting on a dominant display.
Right. It's either so that's the thing.
Maybe not a dominant
Either bet
display, but
plus
maybe
4 or
covering
bet the
that four
Niners
spread.
plus 4 minus 14. So you can get either
Yeah.
side. If it's close, I think Dallas
I mean,
covers.
yeah. Either way, yeah. So
This to
Jacob,
me
any
is a
other
game of.
sports you want me to talk about? Any other games you want me to highlight?
I truthfully, I think that's gonna be the game of the week. I don't think the Bengals Bills matchup's gonna be as good as everyone thinks it is.
Bills. I agree.
Um,
I
but
agree.
I have a couple. I Since it's the first one, I have a few plays. So I talked about in the last on our last live that we went for the sports investing 101. One of my main things I look at are East Coast teams going to the West Coast. It's a 4-hour time difference. There are two games that
Mm-hmm.
like that this year, or sorry,
3 hour.
tonight. So we have Golden State is coming to Boston. So I'm kind of leaning that way. Possibly the under of 240 with that. That's a lean. It started out at 237. It's gotten bet up to 240.
Wow.
So that's why I'm leaning. That's a lot of points for a depleted Golden
That's a
State
lot. That's a lot of points.
roster. But we also have 76ers at Portland. So I'm going to go with the under 233 and a half for that. And then Brooklyn is at Phoenix. The Nets go under 220 and a half. So it's kind
I
of
didn't
this
even
like
realize there's an NBA game.
there's like 4 or 5 of them,
There's an
man.
NBA game right now.
Oh, is there?
No, right now.
Oh, Bulls and
Paris
Pistons.
game. Yeah, the
I
Paris
have
game.
I have the Bulls minus 8.5 actually on this one. That's a lean.
Ooh.
But they just started, so I don't think I'm gonna play that. It's kind of weird that there's a game going on right now. But
Yeah.
the two official plays,
Yeah.
I will post it in the chat if you guys for the free people. We're gonna post this for the free chat. So if they watch it, you'll get
Yeah.
the Nets under and the 76ers under, or Nets Suns under, 76ers Trailblazers under. Also in college basketball, um, debating on making this a 2 unit play. Washington are 9.5 point favor or underdogs against Colorado. Similar records. Washington's 3-1 against the spread the last 4 games. So they lost by 3 against Arizona as a 19 point underdog. And this is the last 4 games. They lost by Stanford, or
Yeah.
Stanford by 7. They were 17 point, or they won by 17. Sorry. They lost by Arizona State by 8 as a 9 point underdog. So 9.5 points for them is a lot. So I'm going to go with Washington at 9.5, plus 9.5. And then got to go back to Indiana. It
Uh-oh.
ruined a really, really good day. Lost Indiana State. They were up by 10 at halftime. It's a third straight blown half that they've lost. Um, had Buddy Healed and Miles Turner couldn't get 11 points yesterday. I blows
Yeah.
my mind. I think Healed got hurt. He ended up with 3 or 4. But the Hoosiers are 6.5 point underdogs. They haven't been playing strong as of late. They're at Illinois. It is a rivalry game, but Trace Jackson Davis is definitely in considered player of the year candidates. So them being 6.5 point underdogs is a lot. So I'm
Yep.
gonna go ahead and go with them. Minnesota's 14 point underdogs against Purdue. Um, but I'm gonna stay away from that. Purdue definitely has the player of the year candidate and Zach Day. So wish we could bet on player. You can do player props.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
so whatever his, I don't know what his over under is, but whatever Zach Day over under possibly.
Oh,
I mean, he's dominant. Like I think he's
yeah.
what, 7.5, 7.4, something.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's crazy. Yeah. But
So
anyways, quickly though, quickly, I'm just gonna break down a couple of these games because we have some big ones. This is a pretty big game, as you said. I mean, Golden State at Boston. Golden State is actually terrible on the road this season. Like they're really bad on the road. I wish it could show something like that here, but I guess it doesn't. Oh no, yeah, away. Here we go. 6-16 on the road. They are not good at all on the road. And they actually started off like they lost like 11 road games to start the season. They've been a
right.
little better as of late. I mean, if you the reason this game is so high on the total is because you look at the offenses here. I mean, you got like compare. You have really two very good offenses. Um, Golden State is great. Boston is great. I think Boston averages the most points in the league. So 240 total. Oof, yeah. The defenses too aren't good, which is actually surprising. These two teams played in the finals and both were playing great defense. But all of a sudden this year they don't believe in it anymore. So
Right.
that's no, we spent a little time on the wild card games at the beginning, so I'm not going to break down any other games for now. This is another big one, but we'll skip it for this week. We may put an official play, or I may put an official play on a couple of these games later. But for now, that will do it for the weekly preview, guys. I mean, we have a couple of leans to start. We gave you guys some information. We looked at some trends, looked at some stats. Definitely gotten through in a couple bets today. We will have some bets coming out later, official plays. We will have official plays on Saturday and Sunday on the NFL games, possibly. I think I will. I don't know about
Yeah,
Jacob.
I'll throw some in there.
And yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Divisional round. This
Yeah.
time, like wild card and divisional round, I love these 2 weeks. These 2 weeks are great. So definitely, we still have 4 games, so we still have a pretty decent slate. So I like, yeah. I mean, any closing remarks before we
Let me
finish
put
it?
my tin hat on. The most futures in the NFL Super Bowl right now are on the 49ers. Vegas
Ooh,
does not want them to win. Um,
yeah.
so just throwing that out there. Follow the money,
Follow
or
the money.
in this case, fade the money. So
Ooh. So yeah, all right. Super Bowl futures. We could talk. I mean, I'm definitely. I'll make a little Super Bowl pick right now. Um, and honestly, my Super Bowl pick is gonna be a hot take. I think the team that I think could easily make the Super Bowl are the Philadelphia Eagles. To me, they seem I don't really trust any other team very well. I don't trust the Chiefs that much. I don't like their
Right.
defense a lot. I don't like their secondary. Um, and Buffalo throws so many turnovers. Cincinnati doesn't have a lot of their linemen. If they can win against Buffalo, I'll take Cincinnati to win the Super Bowl. But I don't think they win against Buffalo. So that's why I'm taking Philadelphia.
Right.
So that's my pick. I wouldn't make a future, but I would definitely say if the Bengals win this game, official prediction, I think the Bengals go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. So
Okay.
I'm going to lock that in right now as a play. I don't know if I'm actually going to place that because I mean I don't know what the odds are right now. Probably like plus what six
I'd say,
hundred.
yeah, I was gonna say plus 600 most likely.
But definitely I might put like quarter of a unit on it, half a unit on it. Because I definitely think it's very possible. I just don't know what the odds are of them beating the Bills. I'm not too
Right.
happy with that. So I would definitely before the game, I'm fine with it, but definitely after the game would be a better pick. I'm assuming it'd probably go up to plus 300, but still good odds. You still get 1 to 3 or 3 to 1 odds. Anyways, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching. We'll have this again next week. It'll probably be Tuesday at 8. You guys will probably see this Thursday at 8 or longer. So yeah, thank you guys for
Awesome.
tuning in for you guys who did.
The
Have a week.
first episode,
Yeah, weekly preview.
weekly preview. Awesome. Take care,
Yep.
man.
You guys.